uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Once again, you tune in to World Combat Sports. Fresh week, fresh boxing topics. Salute the ones who support the channel, man, each and every time that you see me on. Hot, it's live. Much appreciation to you. You know what it is. Let me finish getting this set up, and we're going to talk about some very underlining topics when it comes to the sport of boxing and what just took place. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk about what just happened, why did it happen, and the reason as to continuing, situations like this to take place in our sport. I mean, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna split it up. Fillet it. Whether you want to digest it or not, that's you. You know what I'm saying? But you know how I'm coming with it, period. You know how I'm coming with it, man. If you're in the building, hit the like button, man. It's very, very little effort. Very little effort. You know what I'm saying? Very, very little effort. DBMH on deck. What's good? Morning to you, brother. What's good with you? So let's get down to it, right? You know well as I do that Don King had a boxing card this weekend. And if you're looking at the damn thumbnail, Canelo has a situation that's going on here. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those names, once again, that's peeking up, and it's not all clean. You know what I'm saying? It's not all clean. It's a lot of shit that's been going on. And boxing ain't clean, but Canelo is linked to the Charlo and the Makabu fighters, for a reason. He's the man in the middle. He can turn left or right, whatever he chooses to do. He has the green light. You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about Makabu. If you're looking at the thumbnail to your right, all right. But yet, I have to, start off with that. Shout out to my boy Trevor Bryan. He's the WBA regular title holder, the one and only U.S. heavyweight champion here. Yes, the WBA regular title is a championship. You have to respect it, just like you respected Tank. Tank stopped at 135 and 40 and picked up a regular. You have to respect these regular titles, and so did many other people. If you look at what Canelo Alvarez did when he moved up and fought Rocky Fielding, he picked up a WBA regular. So let's not play the fool. We're intelligent. All right? Like I said, I treat everybody that tune in like they have the highest amount of intelligence at 100%, and then it's up to you to deduct points, goddammit. So Trevor Bryan went in there and fought a last-minute replacement. He was supposed to fight Manuel Charr twice. But when it came down to this particular fight, they were saying that Manuel Charr couldn't get a visa to get into the country. When in fact, it was somewhat of a lawsuit pending. You know what I'm saying? For him going, for Don King or what have you. So that kind of messed up things. But the show goes on over here, right? When it comes to Don King in the U.S. So Trevor Bryan fought a guy named Guidry. All right. And you probably asking yourself, who is that per se? Where did this guy come from? And you're gonna get a lot of questions like that in boxing because, like I said before, boxing isn't mass producing straight up killers. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing it. So when the name popped up, Jonathan Guidry, who was a last minute replacement, they told him I think he only had like a month to prepare for this fight or what have you. He's a full-time fisherman. The man had other things going on. He's not that boxer that's in the gym every day. He's a full-time fisherman, which is a very, very tough job. He was the opponent that stepped in to face Trevor Bryan. And Trevor went in there and performed beautifully. You know what I'm saying? He even earned 2 knockdowns. But when it came to the scorecards, right? And this is going to lead to my point, to my thumbnail. When it came down to the scorecards, even knocking the man down late in the fight, and Guidry was able to rise to his feet and finish and make it to the final bell, the scorecards came back. Brian Kenny, remember the Oasis of Lies, right? Brian Kenny scored the fight 116-111. All right? For Brian. Nathan Palmer had an even wilder margin for Brian. He had it 118-109. But then when it comes to Steve Weisfeld, right? We see Steve Weisfeld plenty of times judging fights. These judges are like, mongerers for real. Like these judges come and go as they please. And when they dare to cause mass destruction, they make sure they do it at the right time. And the effect is catastrophic and detrimental. Steve Weisfeld scored at 115-112 for Guidry. Yes, I repeat, the one who they say is a very, very decent, honorable, so to speak, judge, Steve Weisfeld, scored it for 115-112 for Guidry. I mean, what the fuck is going on with this judging? Why do they continue to replay and redemonstrate what their heart is in the sport? Their heart is whatever orders they're given, and that's the direction they're going to go. They're not there on their own courage, you know what I'm saying, and integrity. I say all the time, boxing lacks morals and principles. And this is a perfect example how Steve Weisfeld can score 115-112 for Guidry, being he was knocked down twice in the fight. It's just crazy. But it happens. Captain Corruption. What did I say about the corruption, the capital C in corruption? It doesn't have any roots anymore. That shit is anchored down. That shit has post in the history of boxing with cement. Some of the best materials you'll find. That's what Captain Corruption. That shit is in the foundation, solid. It's not going anywhere. Shit like this keep on going on with Steve Weisfeld. Steve Weisfeld scoring the fight 115-112 for Guidry is absurd, man. It's absurd for real. Let's move on to the main event. This where good old Canelo Alvarez was coming into the play because the thought process that was presented to us was the fact that Makabu is going to face Canelo Alvarez. Well, guess what? His opponent, Makabu's opponent, Mahunu, he didn't feel the need to take step-aside money. He felt that, in his mind, look, this is how these fighters, we don't get the experience. He felt in his mind, he's thinking back to the first fight that him and Makabu had. And he's saying, nah, I got to run that back. Yeah, I can take the money, but goddamn, if I go in there and beat him and become the WBC champion, which I think I could be the one to step in there with Canelo Alvarez. That's what happens when boxing becomes impulsive. You know what I'm saying? They put information out. Sometimes it motivates fighters that's being overlooked or they want to slide you step aside money. it pisses them off a little bit. It increased their heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? The post is different. They said, man, are you not looking at this the way I am? Like, I already fought Makabu before. I go in there and beat him. I get another big payday with Canelo. That was his mindset. I'm speaking and I'm pinpointing with my assumptions. That was his mindset. Mahuna went in there and won that fight. He outperformed Makabu, bro. Look, I have a video that I posted on IG. That shit has to be at. This is just a video of Makabu crossing paths with Floyd Mayweather. That video had to do like, I don't know. It did thousands of views, right? And I'm not a view person, but I put it up there because it was funny because Makabu ain't did shit. And then just the caveat off that video, and everybody was looking at it to the point of his performance against Mahunu, and he clearly lost the fight. Makabu clearly lost the fight. He clearly lost the fight. The WBC Cruiser clearly lost the freaking fight, people. Hey, what do you know? Captain Corruption. So therefore, we go back and we look at the judging. All right? We look at the judging in this shit. Once again, I mentioned Steve Weisfeld, right? On how he scored the co-main event. The co-main event, right? It brings us to how he was still in the seat to score the main event. And what do you think would stand out the most when he scored the main event? So it says, Don King shows in 2022 exist in reality that is difficult to comprehend, one in which Junior Makabu won a split decision thanks to the 8 rounds he won on Judge Hami Garayu's scorecard and Weisfeld. The man many considered the boxing most trustworthy judge, scoring 115-113 in his favor, ensuring that King still holds a ticket to co-promote a fight involving the sport's biggest superstars. So when it came to Makabu, boxing is all about business. So when you have the influence of someone of the stature of Don King, judges always cater to the fighters who are being pushed by the promotion. That's why you see some of these grand robberies that take place in broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? These robberies take place. Why? Because who are you going to tell? Is it going to be so much to the point where it's a drastic separation in scores, opposite of the belief on what people just witnessed? They just witnessed the other guy won the fight. But yet when the judge's scorecard come out, and I thought Mahunu did enough to defeat Makabu and take his title in their rematch, Makabu ended up getting a victory off Garayu's and Weisfeld's scorecards. Remember, I said Weisfeld scored the co-main event for Guidry. Weisfeld scored the fight in favor of Makabu for the main event. So that's 2 fights in one night that Weisfeld got it wrong. But look, Makabu, unless he was knocked out, he was going to get the nod because the money down the road, however they try to fix it, may indeed be situated on the negotiation table with Canelo Alvarez. They just got to see how things play out. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about Charlo, right? Charlo, Charlo, Charlo. But look at it this way. Do we even know what date that fight is going to be? Do we even know where it's going to be? Do we even know any solid content that we've seen out here as to the fight being signed? Or are we going off what our, you know what I'm saying? You put that rubber ducky on the damn top of the water and that shit just move around. It's bright enough for everybody to see it. So they look at it like, damn, how that rubber ducky get out there? How I get up on the surface just moving around like that? That's what that is. When they say fighters have agreed to fight, talks, there's talks. Canelo and Charlo in talks. You hear this shit all the time. It's just the residue to be floating up on the surface all the time. Little greasy ass residue. They're in talks. They agreed. They shook hands. All that shit means nothing. Absolutely mean nothing at all. We don't know what Charlo is going to do. What's more important to Canelo Alvarez? Fighting Charlo or stepping up to get another title against Makabu for his 5th weight class? Which one is more important to you? From the outside looking in, I think getting that belt from Makabu is more important than fighting Charlo. Because look, let's be absolutely clear what we know about this. Charlo hasn't been a part of any grand numbers. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been the participant in these grand numbers. He just has a name. He has another human being on this earth that looks like him. What's going on, David? Take a break. Since the live chat filled up a little bit, take a break. David on deck. What's good? Trap Media on deck. See you. That 50 million offer to Canelo for Charlo was fake news. I'm not sure why so many will wake up an unsourced offer to slander a very active top fighter. I'm not sure why so many would make up an unsourced offer to slander a very active top fighter. I see where you're coming from, but that's boxing though, Trap. That's boxing, bro. Come on, man. That's shit that's been anchored in this sport for decades, man. That's why I sit back and I don't try to report shit first. When I hear that shit about Errol Spence, supposedly so and so said this and he's injured. Listen, you have to cite your sources. You have to go around and ask questions. Call the people that's in your contacts. You know what I'm saying? D-Ray Promotions on deck. What's good with you? Papa Lot on deck, man. I see you. Salute, man. King Mitch on deck. J Ocho. Appreciate all the solid supporters, man, on deck. If the Canelo versus Manuel Charr fight happens, it's because Canelo is happy of the success he experienced with the PBC and with the plant fight, not because he gives a fuck about fighting Charlo. I can agree with that, man. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because right now for Canelo, he's not even the 1% in this boxing game of fighters. But God damn it, shit, he can walk around with his hands, his arms wide open. Anybody be running to try to give Canelo a hug. They want somehow, some way to have him on the card, man, because he's earned his stripes, so to speak, and now he's making that dollar. He's making plenty of it. His pillow is fluffed nicely. Bro. And goddamn PBC put a whole lot of money in Canelo. But let me get back to it, though. Seawood on deck. Don Dot on deck. What's good? What up, WCS? If we're being realists, fighting Makabu and getting a title at the 5th division is more important than the Charlo fight. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I also agree with what Mitch said earlier. Andrew said, I rock with the Charlos, but they ain't doing shit either. So I just said about the Charlo Makabu situation. Listen, people, I understand that Charlo has a twin, but with that twin, both of them together on the same night has not rallied numbers. They wasn't able to rally the support of the boxing fans to come see them fight. They're not doing numbers like that. So it's just a dance partner for Canelo. So I'm just thinking, right? If I was anywhere close to the inner circle Canelo or the team or whatever, I'll definitely be going for the Makabu belt. Real talk, because what it does is cement a fifth division to your legacy. Yes, it'll be a weak ass, fifth division, because Makabu clearly was beat by Mahunu. It'll be a weak ass belt from a weak ass division. A weak ass belt from a weak ass division. I'm not talking about the WBC per se. I'm talking about the person who is in ownership of that belt named Makabu. And the division for which has a stakeholder in that dang WBC title right now in cruiserweight. It's just weak. That shit is weak, bro. Should we even consider this a cherry pick? You can't really call it a cherry pick unless you're talking about the 168-pound division. And then look, he has all the belts at 168 pounds, so he don't have to fight Benavidez. But I'm calling it you can't call it a cherry pick when it come to Makabu, though, because there's nobody else. You talk about cruiserweight, dog. Alexander Usyk isn't there yet. I mean, anymore. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't decided to return back to the cruiserweight division. So we has Makabu, bro. This is beyond a cherry pick. This is called the easiest man standing. And I cannot blame Canelo for picking the litter when it comes to this cruiserweight. If the belt is accessible for a fifth division, go ahead and get it and make a whole lot of money doing it. Fuck it. Because like I said before, if you are a fighter like Canelo that makes it to the position to make your own choices and get millions upon millions stepping into the ring, regardless of what your competition is in reality, do it. Now, the boxing fans are not going to be satisfied, nor are we going to be happy with that bullshit. But this is a big problem with the captain corruption that's in boxing. Steve Weisfeld clearly scored the co-main event that Trevor Bryan was victorious in. He scored the fight for his opposition in Jonathan Guidry, bro. A full-time fisherman who took the fight on a month's notice. And people not even up in arms about it. Because you know why? They really don't care about Trevor Bryan. He's the only U.S. heavyweight champion right now. Real talk. Shout out to my man, Sean 808, man. I interviewed him down here in the A when he stopped through. Good dude. You know what I'm saying? And he can box too. He clearly won that fight. And Steve Weisfeld scored the fight for Guidry, bro. And then same judge scored the fight for Makabu, who clearly lost to Mahunu. God damn, I swear to God, man, this sport. Just like I say, it's an oasis for lies upon lies upon lies upon motherfucking lies, y'all. King Miss say MF's always grouping the Charlo's career together. Mel has 3 belts and about to unify the division versus a very tough Castano. It's Maul that ain't done much lately. I don't group their career together. I group their livelihood and their and them as far as relations. You know what I'm saying? Their chromosomes. I group that together. I group their behavior and mannerisms together. They do act alike in some cases. Even though we know Maul Charlo is more of a son Freud type of individual. And when it comes to Mel, he's cantankerous every freaking time you you see him on the lot, on site. He's fired up, lit about something. But both of these guys was a champion in the same division at one time in 54. So Maul moved up to 160 and the shit has stalled out. This shit has stalled out. And 160 is one of the weakest upon weakest, upon weakest, upon weakest division in boxing. So I'm looking for the lines lonely to separate themselves and have that big fight. Then the talk and conversation come up about, look, him and Canelo Alvarez. I didn't even raise a brow when I heard about that fight. I'm happy for Charlo to be able to step into the ring with Canelo Alvarez, if indeed it's mandated and it's going to happen, right? But this is my point, people. Listen to me. This is my point. As a black fight fan, I'm not trying to see Charlo step in the ring with Canelo and do the same thing Daniel Jacobs did. I don't want to see the shit. I want to see Charlo go over there and perform and put Canelo in an uncomfortable situation. Have him second guessing. You know what I'm saying? Put him in adversity. Not that, oh man, we had all these black fighters in this era that stepped up and can get it done. We can't always say, oh, you know, I'm a black fight fan at the end of the day. You got to hold the black fighters accountable too. Outside of facing other black fighters, like, how many of y'all in the chat believe that Charlo will answer the bell and give Canelo Alvarez that work that we never seen him get? Look, we're not even talking about Caleb Plant work. Please. We're talking about that Jermell Charlo Castano work on Canelo, okay? I want the Jermell Charlo, Brian Castano energy. I want Maul Charlo to bring that energy into the ring with Canelo Alvarez, goddammit. I want to see fireworks. I want to see a firefight. I want to see everything fire related. Because Canelo, man, it just seems like he's just been walking through opponents, man. It's just like the easiest cruise in the park. He just make it look easy. The competition cannot be that subpar to the point where this guy does not have an equal or greater opposition to challenge him. One thing I would say about this day and time, right? Especially when it comes to this YouTube shit, that you have more people willing to follow a narrative than to stand by what's reality. The reality is a lot of people don't think Charlo can beat Canelo. That's a reality, people. Myself, I want to see a fighter, especially a black fighter, go in here. If they want to beat that Floyd Mayweather, who's at the top, find a way to do it. You have to find a way to do it. Canelo's what, 31, 32? I'm looking for the next fighter to step up there and give Canelo the work. A fight that we can look back on and say, damn, we didn't know who was going to win that fight heading into the damn championship round. That was a tough fight. I didn't see that coming. No, with Canelo fights, we already know what's coming. We already know, dog. We freaking know. Because it just seems like he's so comfortable in there with his opposition. We have to give him the same criticism we gave Roy Jones. They say Roy Jones, a lot of his fights, he didn't fight equal to greater competition. Now, we know Canelo stepped in there with over 40 professional fights and was introduced to a boxing clinic by Floyd Money Mayweather. He also had a tough go with Aries Landy Lara. And there's plenty of other names that, you know, Canelo stepped in there with. But as of late, the resume is just, the performance to his resume is just mediocre. Like, as far as anybody challenging Canelo Alvarez, bro. How do we get away from the oasis of lies when we're seeing judges score fight cards from the orders they was given? They're not going off what their eyes seen or what their heart. They're going strictly off the orders that they was given. And it don't matter who's winning in the ring. They're going for that Pacific fighter. They already know what they're going to do. Like I say plenty of times before, have you ever taken a look ringside and see what the judges are going on? No, it's hard for that because if you never go to a fight, you pretty much looking at what the camera view is, the angles that they're giving you, the network framing. But see, me, when I'm there and I'm shooting right through my lens, I always pay attention to what my camera can zoom down on the ring. I'm always paying attention to everything that's going on around the ring. Like when I was looking at Floyd Mayweather pace back and forth, and he was talking to Gervonta Davis, I was like, damn, Floyd just get away with anything, dog. Who else could do that shit? I'm looking at how Calvin Ford was trying to keep the attention of Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at a lot of shit that was going on. Looking at Leo Santa Cruz corner. I really can't get the audio, but you know what I'm talking about. And then also I pay attention to the freaking judges, dog. I want to see, are they focused on the rounds? Like I can still shoot a fight, but still I can pan over to that judge that's closer to the angle. Boom, see what they doing, and then pan back on the fight and click. I'm already focused in anyway. But how does this shit stop, first of all? Let me get to some of these comments. How did this shit stop, dog? Andrew said, Mel got more going on. I agree. I like Maul better as a boxer, but he's never in the ring, man. Like, we need something more than Sergey Derevyanchenko, dog. We need something more than Montiel. We just need more, dog. We need you to abort the 160-pound division, go up there with 168 and try your hand. Stop worrying about keeping that old because it separates you and your brother Maul. What we can say, Mel. What we can actually say about Mel is the look that he had on this motherfucking face when he stepped in there with Tony Harrison for a rematch. He wasn't playing. Dude was not freaking playing. Did you see the look on Mel Charlo? Like, dude was zoned the fuck in on the prey. You know how you see you look at these damn wildlife channels and it'll be a motherfucking cheetah or a lion. I say more so a cheetah. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say a cheetah. Even though cheetah is considered one of the fastest animals, right? When them hyenas smell that shit, and them wild dogs come, they come in numbers, right? But it's just that cheetah might be there by itself. The cheetah take the shit up in the tree. The motherfucker take the shit up in the tree, dog. He said, y'all motherfucking ass can't climb this tree. I bet you that. You know, motherfucking lion take that shit up a tree. They grab the carcass and take the shit up a tree, dog. When does the weight become too much for skill to overcome? When does the weight become too much for skill to overcome? So I'm trying to assume or guess who you might be speaking about. When does the weight? Let me know who you talking about, Dun Darling. You know what I'm saying? Jay Ocha say, them sources be trash can and a ball of yak. I know, right? Like, look, people believe when you talk about YouTube, you're talking about them. I'm on YouTube. I'll say it once, I'll say it again, the caveat off Jay Ocho. People look at this as just a fun house. You know how you have those little fun houses, you walk in there, you got the mirrors that show different reflections, you don't know where you at and all this other shit. And you got little people that pop up, little clowns, this, that, and the other. YouTube has too many channels that are not really considered serious boxing outlets. They are considered just fun, free-for-all topics of conversation. Like a lot of channels will put thumbnails up about events that's taking place on the weekend, but if you tune into their channel, you got a whole lot of other people up there talking about other sports and miscellaneous bullshit. They cannot take YouTube serious if we're not talking about what we say we're going to talk about. Plus, the information that you bring out that may not be sourceable across other platforms that's higher than us, YouTube community. You need to make sure what you're putting out there to this community has fact to it. Like if you putting out something that we can't even find on ESPN, we can't find it on freaking Eastside Boxing, Boxing News, Boxing Scene. And we can't find it nowhere, but you're the only one who got it. You're fucking up those who actually has sources and saying, I call my source up, boom, they told me this, I'm gonna put it out. A lot of y'all that's saying, that these sources are out here and all this other shit, y'all be breaking news off desperation on a topic that we're just waiting. We're waiting and waiting and waiting for this topic to come out. And we haven't heard anything. But yet, every now and then people put clickbait out there, and that's why they don't take us serious. You put clickbait out there that's not even true. We have shows that be out here talking about miscellaneous topics other than, what the thumbnail or the description is. If you have a panel, a lot of panels out there, not all of them, a lot of panels will have individuals out there just talking about topics that has nothing pertaining to the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, MMA, whatever the case may be. So they're not going to take us serious, people. They just say, oh man, that's just a little friendly place I like to gather when I'm just, kicking rocks and walking through the damn park. I'll take my phone and click on YouTube to see what these boxing guys are doing. They're adorable. They're adorable. You ever tuned in to them? Oh man, I've never seen a bunch of guys just talk forever in a day for 12 hours. What the hell are they girls doing? What are their kids doing? They're on there arguing for 12 to 15 hours. The only way YouTube will ever be taken serious from the mainstream media is that it no longer exists. Period. That's the only way, dog. It would be non-existent. Because not too many people are talking about the Makabu and Mahunu fight because they didn't care. They just felt when Canelo name was attached to it, they felt some way to, chop it up. And then my boy Trevor Bryan, he clearly won against Jonathan Guidry. No man ain't talking about him because, the last U.S. heavyweight champion that reigned in the past 5+ years was the bronze bomber himself, Deontay Wilder. And that was many times I was telling people, y'all going to miss him when he gone because the heavyweight division is just not going to have the same spark and buzz. And that is indeed true. Jay Ocho say, breaking news, dog. For real. Breaking news. YouTube streets don't know what reality is. It's different layers to reality there, King Mitch. And one reality is speaking about a reality. You know what I'm saying? One reality when it comes to YouTube is speaking about reality type shit. The reality is that you have an audience and there's people that tune in. And if you talking biasly or you talking in favor of a fighter, they're going to tune in and watch the shit. They're going to listen. That's the reality I'm speaking on. The other reality is seeing something with your own eyes. And let's just say it's a fighter that you favor. You coming back out here to the YouTube community and your platform and saying, you know what? That's my boy. Or that's my girl. But I don't think they won tonight. I think the judges gave them the fight. I think this. But no, where we're not taken seriously is, well, I'm looking at the fight. I looked at the fight several times. I looked at the fight several times, and so-and-so won the fight. Knowing clearly your fighter did not win. And then you try to come up with all this breaking down and doing film study. Man, stop it, bro. All you're doing is just fluttering over lies. Because you've hyped the fighter up. Your fighter goes in there and either lose or don't perform. And your reality is to give your fans what they listened to before the fight actually happened. Now that results are in, you're sitting up here trying to continue to make it transparent to your fans that your fighter won and they perform well. No. That's called deception. That's called misleading your audience. But it'll continue to happen on YouTube because there's no structure on this. There's no structure, man. 1 minute, you're talking and you're talking boxing about a particular fighter. Let's say Canelo. And then you just kicking facts, like I'm speaking like, hey, I don't see what he's going to get out of Charlo. If I had to choose between Charlo and Makabu for my career, I would go for the WBC title, scoop that shit up like a roll of motherfucking nickels and keep it moving. It may not be much, goddammit, but they're in my pocket. It's mine. It's mine, goddammit. Scoop it up like a roll of nickels and keep moving. Nobody's going to remember Makabu. I don't give a fuck if Canelo's the one to step in the ring with him. In his country where he's at, he can say, oh, Makabu, you step in the ring with Canelo. We proud of you. We wish you well. But you're going to get your ass beat. That's what they're going to say. You won't win. What they say in Rocky? You can't win. Well, you have so much faith in me, and I think I'm Rocky. I can get it done. Adrian! Man, goddamn. Makabu can't win against Canelo. Stop it. Stop it, dog. It's a waste of time. J8 said Cambosa's all over the fucking place. He might say Tank name, that Haney fight not happening next. Man, I got to get back to that, J Ocho, for real. What y'all think, man? When it comes to boxing, do you think there will ever be any type of structure in this sport where people can start telling the truth? Do you believe the sport is capable of turning over a different chapter in the future? What will it take for them to start having a lot more structure? Because the sport is not regulated. People don't have to answer to anybody unless you pull off a James Butler, Rich Franklin type of situation, or a Panama Lewis, Billy Collins, Luis Resto type of situation. It has to be drastic. It has to be something that is caught right there in the moment, and they have to take advantage of it. Zab Judah, Costa Zoo. It has to be situations that totally get out of hand. Riddick Bowe. I forgot when his manager jumped up on the ring rope and pulled a guy over the top, after they had a kickboxing match. You know what I'm saying? It's been like that forever and a day, with boxing. But the sport has become a nesting bed for lying to our face, y'all. That's why I've always studied like more than one combat sport. And people just frown upon it. You know what I'm saying? People frown upon you not being so-called hardcore boxing fan. But I'm like, why would you sit up here and just not provide yourself with the option to look at other combat sports? Why would you sit up here and say, oh, when you mention World Combat Sports, he's more so MMA? Look at most of my lives on boxing. Most of my lives are on boxing, y'all. But they say I'm MMA. I take it as a feather in the cap. You know what I'm saying? But the audience and the fan base are different when it comes to MMA and boxing. Now, I'm not saying the judges haven't ripped off some fights over there in mixed martial arts. But I'm saying as far as getting the quality of opposition, the best fighting the best. That is the dilemma that we have with this thumbnail. We would consider Charlo a better opposition than Makabu, but to the benefit of the man in the middle, Canelo Alvarez, it will essentially be smart of him with the highest, most intelligence to choose Makabu for a motherfucking belt than face Jamal Charlo, who you're not gonna, what are you gonna get from that? Just the name on your resume? You have Danny Jacobs on your resume? this going to be? What is Jamal Charlo going to be on Canelo? A name on his resume, people. Unless Manuel Charlo can green him up. If Manuel Charlo can green Canelo, green him up on his resume, we talking about a whole nother situation. If Manuel Charlo can beat Canelo and get that W, we're talking about an entire different landscape for the Charlo brothers. But you know well as I do, just like I mentioned about the judging, I don't see no way, no how Charlo can win if it goes to the distance. I don't see it. Hell no, I don't see that shit, dog. I don't see it. I'm not trying to be, an angry bird. I just don't see Charlo knocking out Canelo, and I don't see him winning if it goes to the scorecards. Being boxing news on deck. Salute and I agree about Makabu. Chad Perez on deck. Let me see what Trap had to say. Most boxing YouTubers push fake news. They have no integrity. They are just trying to get a YouTube check. When the bigger channels do it, the new channels believe that's the way to go. Damn. All right, Trap. Putting that shit on wax, I feel you. 100% on that. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And this is how I'm going to blend what Trap Media just said. He said, most boxing YouTube push fake news. They have no integrity. They're just trying to get YouTube check. Okay. How I blend that in with this is when we look at what decision Canelo should make, the Canelo fan base is on YouTube. They're going to put out, it's a wishbone here, right? They're going to put out what they think they audience should hear, what they believe within themselves. So if they more focus on Canelo beating Manuel Charlo just to shut the shit down, they're going to say, okay, Canelo should fight Charlo. But if you're talking about the smart part of business and his career, we all know he should go over there and scoop up the belt with Makabu because it's good for business. When it comes down to the views and what Trap Media just mentioned, when it comes down to the views, what conversation is going to provide more traction? Canelo versus Manuel Charlo. Black versus Mexican. That's gonna give you more traction. No. Don't say Makabu is black versus Mexican. I'm talking about the name. Charlos has a name in boxing. All right. It may not be as big as a lot of people want it to be, but they have a name. So when you come to these YouTube streets, they definitely gonna look at Canelo and Manuel Charlo as a better topic to talk about to draw in that viewership, to gain traction on their audience. So that's what they're going to talk about. And when he talk about when the bigger channels do it, the new channels believe that's the way it go. Absolutely 1000%. It happens all the time. This was the crazy part about it. You get new channels there, Trap, that will start up. They're not even starting up a channel on their belief system in boxing. They're starting up a channel off another channel that they've been frequenting the live chat. So their whole basis for starting a channel is to basically leech off a channel that they've been in live chat, speak highly of their, try to get some of their viewership, or link up with a certain group. It's Click City all day on YouTube. You got to find a click. A lot of YouTube channels are not independently starting up their channel and speaking neutral about topics that they read about. When it comes to this boxing shit, they just up here like, hey, I've been in this. And then, they might frequent somebody live chat long enough to the point, hey, man, I seen you on this panel. You should start your own channel. Man, I'm going to start my own channel. And then they start their own channel speaking the same way as the panel that they was on before they even had a channel. You know what I'm saying? That's just never been me, man. Damn solid point, dog. Trap Media. Damn solid point. The he's this. He said the Cardi B lawsuit against the YouTuber Tasha K is a big set precedent for YouTubers to continue to be sued for fake news and slander. Cardi won 3.5 in the judgment. Hope to see suit in boxing. See, it's the difference between how she was suing. Like Cardi B is not beneath the umbrella of boxing or any type of promoters. That was something where Cardi B can have sponsorships and everything else and make her money and do what she want to do. She's independently a brand, right? So if somebody's independently a brand and they're here talking and they're trying to take a so-called in a lawsuit, they're basically slandering your name, which could potentially have you lose revenue. I have fans, build upon that slander. Yeah, it becomes defamation. So you have to take it to court. And for somebody to win 3 point some million, I heard it was 3 point some 4. And also I heard Tasha wasn't relenting. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't going to surrender to that. She was going to continue to fight. But if you try to tell people, like, they look at World Combat Sports and they like, well, I'm talking about the person. But if you mention World Combat Sports, that's a trademark. That's a brand. That's something I have rights to. I did it a long time ago. So if you're talking about me as a brand and you're be the slandering, yeah, I could take legal action on it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people up here, they just come up with a name and they don't even want to pay the money to have your shit trademarked and make it official. They don't want to pay the money because you're going to pay out the pocket to trademark your shit, period. There's a lot of cats on here that don't have a single trademark and they can't do shit when somebody's slandering their name except report the video. That's facts, bro. That's fact. Real talk. Charlo not better than Plant. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how that fight will go. It will be a good fight. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a close fight for us performance wise. Because people still looking at the Charlo. Look, you got to do away with the Charlo knockouts. When he increased his competition, the knockouts were UA, dog. For real. You know damn well there was unauthorized absence on them damn knockouts, dog. People still look at what he was able to do to who. Put it in live chat. I know I got some intelligent damn fight fans. Manuel Charr is linked to what knockout? Come on, man. Come on. Don't confuse him. Don't confuse Mel and Maul. What is Manuel Charr linked up to? His knockout of who? It was a pretty knockout now. Now, I have to give Manuel Charr, that shit was beautiful. J-Rock. Absolutely. He's linked up because, look, he parried J-Rock's punch with the same hand and then stuck him with the uppercut. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? As another twin would say, Mel Charlo, he stuck Erickson Lubin with a right uppercut. So that, it was pretty. But those knockouts, like that power shit, it's gone. Like when he increased, even with Brandon Adams, when he increased his competition and all that shit, the knockouts disappeared like David Copperfield. Poof. Gone. Plant was in there with the extra soft 100% cotton pillow. Man, you ain't never lied, Jay. Plant went in there. Not only did he wake up knowing that his pillow was extra cushion soft, you know what I'm saying? Posturpedic, grade A. But his shoes, the sole of his shoes, he was walking on money. You know what I'm saying? He knew. He said, damn, I did it. I did it. Having a fairly new marriage. Shout out to his wife. Shout out to Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shout out to everything he had experienced and endure in life. Shout out to his pops. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Caleb, Plant plant singing. Shout out to his pops, man. They made it. Over 10 mil? That's good money, dog. Pay your taxes. That's good money, Caleb. Pay your taxes and enjoy that. But you're not gonna get that fighting Jamal Charlo. You're not gonna get another $10 million payday fighting Mar Charlo. It ain't happening. It'll be good for TV, but it ain't happening, bro. J Rock is chinny though. Yeah. But I was just trying to, wave the flag there, Chad, and give, Mar Charlo a little bit of credit. You know what I'm saying? I give him a little bit of credit, bro. I ain't want to take all of it. I mean, like, boxers need to start suing YouTubers for making up stories. Like $50 million offer. YouTubers are pushing that fake story to paint Canelo as a duck, but there's no source to verify. It's a solid point. You have to understand, where's the propaganda originating from? When you're talking about a boxer taking the time out to sue a YouTuber, when do you think you're going to get your money? Real talk. What they going to sue a YouTuber for? 26 cents? You're going to find out how much money somebody has real quick when it comes to public record and shit that comes out in court. You're going to find out real quick. So-and-so has assets totaling $28,000 total. I mean, what money are they going to get? You have to really go in on a fighter. Really, really. The shit that I've heard from YouTubers going in on fighters, and the fighters know that these YouTubers are going in on them, and they didn't do shit. It's because they don't care. They say, man, they ain't affecting me. They just mad. They jealous. I know who you are, though. I keep an eye on you, but they just jealous. I ain't worrying about them cats. When will they get their money? What they gonna sue us for? See, Cardi B is a different story because she's a millionaire, and that particular person didn't take into the consideration of the repercussions that she would experience with the amount of money Cardi B makes, and her slander and defamation in court might have influenced a reduction or a degrade in how people look at Cardi B. You're talking about somebody who's making millions. Then you have Tasha up there speaking damningly and slandering her name in the media, where she has multiple, I'm talking about millions of fans out there. That's a huge platform to be touching. So for this 3 million, shit, good luck with getting that money. Good luck with getting that money right there. That liquor been kicking Mar Charlo ass. Don't start talking about them Texas dudes drinking now. Because look, when you look at another grown man, it look like they've been, they sounding, they slurring their speech. And then somebody on the live say, oh, y'all drunk? And then they say, man, we ain't drinking that. Look at the table, man. We ain't drinking that. God damn shit, man. Y'all hating ass motherfucker. Look what we got. Y'all broke ass niggas. Y'all broke. See, when they said that shit right there, I'm like, it is what it is when Canelo choosing Mar Charlo. It is what it is. Because together, Canelo's making money by himself. But together, what Canelo's going to make? Canelo will probably make, I'll say, 47 cents more than what he, Mar Charlo dancing with Canelo, he's going to benefit more. Canelo will probably make about 47, 48 cents, more to step in there with Mar Charlo, just for the sake of gifting him with a prize like he did Danny Jacobs. That's all it is. He's been begging and pleading from 160, y'all. So is Errol Spence. They've been calling out Canelo. Who's the top pound for pound? Canelo. I don't hear nobody up here talking about, another brother tap dancing. Y'all miss Floyd, don't you? Shit. Y'all miss the fuck out of Floyd. I don't see all these black fighters calling out Canelo, chasing these Latino fighters around. Y'all need to somehow find out a common median on how to put yourself where Floyd used to be. I ain't talking about, I'm talking about the money. I'm talking about the numbers. The way Mike Tyson and Floyd was able to get them top PPV spots. You have to find out. I wish Plant never started that small talk with Canelo in the middle of the fight. That was soft. It was, Andrew. Super soft. I was so disappointed hey, what do you think? Hey, Canelo, what? I was so disappointed in Caleb Plant for that shit because it just seemed like he folded over like a wet envelope, dog. Like you picking up your newborn baby and they just fell asleep after feeding them in the evening. They got that warm milk in their system and now they about to go to sleep and you rocking them to sleep. Right? And he ended up finishing. That's what Canelo did. Yeah, come on over here. I know you want a hug, but we in the middle of the fight. Okay, Caleb? Since we in the middle of the fight, Caleb, wait till the 2 more rounds and I'm going to stop you. And then we can have our talk post-fight. Okay? All right, my friend. When you get payday. Okay, enjoy payday. That's what he told Caleb Plant. You cannot, Caleb Plant or any other fighter, go through what you did in the presser. When a fighter pushes you and you slap him and he give you a 1-2, you cannot come into the fight and start talking to him in a championship fight, undisputed showcase, when he's trying to fight for your title and you're fighting for his. You can't sit up here and surrender and start having a conversation with the top pound for pound guy in the game right now. It makes you look super duper fluffy, soft, wet cotton soft. Well, hey, listen, Trap, just to send a message, they got people for that. They have cease and desist. They have all those little small microcosms that they can send out to these YouTubers to stop and shut that shit down. Absolutely, they can. Absolutely, bro. It happens. But what are we gonna do? Like, this what I think about the situation with Makabu and Charlo. Makabu lost, period. And then Manuel Charr is about to take his first loss, if he steps in there with Canelo. Boxing will always be about the fuckery, the buffoonery all day long. It will always consist of certain individuals reminding us fight fans of the lies, the twisted lies and details that goes on in this sport. I shake my head a lot when I hear people talk about boxing as if it has prominence. Like this is really a thing. Like, you respect boxing because of what? That's what you've been following all your life? No, you have to respect it for being dysfunctional and abusive. You have to respect it for being dishonest, disingenuous. That's what you got to respect out of boxing. You have to respect boxing for all the back and forth rigmarole that they take the audience through, all the lies, deceit that it takes us through. Boxing can be considered that prostitute. It's been around for so long, so much tread on the tire. It's just like, they coming up and they've been walking the street forever. They say, you know what, I'm a virgin. For you tonight, I'm a virgin. Don't believe anything you ever heard. I'm a virgin at this. Everything anybody ever told you on this block has been absolute lies. I haven't been out here for 20 plus years doing this. Do you think I could have survived that? I'm serious. Boxing is one of those entities that it would be great if it cleans itself up. But being that it's not a commander in chief or president of the sport of boxing, so that people can basically submit paperwork and file grievances to one sole person that's in charge of boxing, it'll always continue to have us laying on our back, shaking our head, kicking our feet, you know what I'm saying, cussing people out, because that's the way it is. We will continue to have potential fights like a Canelo Alvarez and Jamal Charlo, where people will look at the fight like, oh shit, man, shout out to Canelo. He's a cool cat, man. Damn, he's gonna give Charlo a shot. Oh man, that's cool. That's cool, dog. See, I like Canelo, man. He giving the brother a shot. Yeah, that's all he giving him, a shot in the ass. That's what he's giving him. How many more years it's gonna take? Like, I asked this question before. Why, when it comes to the top cash cows, like Floyd and Canelo, how can it be only one cash cow? How can it be like out of all the hundreds of the thousands of boxers out here, right? How can there only be one cash cow in an era? One cash cow. You have all these people that want to be promoters. It's funny as shit seeing how many promotion companies out there that don't make sense. Like, you see all these people coming up with their own promotions. Promotions this, promotions that. That only allows you rights to your material. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that particular individual who's putting promotion on the end of their brand is going to be something huge and big in the sport of boxing. It's just too many wolves out here. It's too many wolves, dog. It's too many wolves that's going to continue to influence fights like we seen this weekend. Well, we witnessed Trevor Bryan winning, but yet you had one judge graded for Guidry, and there's no repercussion or consequences. You've seen Makabu clearly lose to Mahunu, but yet two judges scored it for Makabu. I'm not gonna give a long drawn out speech and protest, because these cats on YouTube ain't trying to protest shit. And then they look at how many viewers you got on your channel, and then let that supersede the words that's coming out your mouth for merit. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what a person's saying, and then you respect the shit. But don't think I give a damn about me not having 200 or 300. I don't do this for a motherfucking living and paycheck. Like, look, I have to go back and actually monetize a lot of videos. I don't even really monetize them off the rip. I just put the content out there. I don't know. Look, I really, it's really crazy. YouTube is just like boxing, dog. The YouTube community, when it comes to this boxing shit, is nothing different than what you see out here from other media putting out lies and false shit and spinning their own narrative on the fighter that they want to. The mainstream media do it, and YouTube does it. So the in between is those who filter through the bullshit and pick out what they want to cachet as something that's credible. You know what I'm saying? Something has credence. You can't put all this shit in your digestive system. You're gonna have an upset stomach now. You got to be smart. You can't listen to all these channels and expect not to get contaminated. Some of these channels are good, but even the good channels, they have viewpoints that are very freaking toxic. You know what I'm saying? They have what you call they're a bit sour on certain fighters. And that's where we at with it. The den of lies. You always have to treat boxing as that. It's an oasis for that shit, dog. I dare anybody to get on here and try to advocate for boxing. You're a fool. You're a fool to try to come up here and advocate for boxing. Boxing is not one entity. Boxing is a system for which people compete in to make a paycheck. People may speak of boxing as a single entity of combat sports, but when it comes to the organization process, business-wise, who is benefiting? The top of the food chain. They are the people who benefit. Now, those who have reached the pinnacle where they was able to make millions in the sport, it's not even consistent. Like real talk. Like I just said, how many cash cows are in boxing? Is Makabu is going to be a cash cow? How much you think he's going to make against Canelo? Is it going to be more than 5 million? Or are they going to give him the minimal cap 1.5, 2? I mean, what the money's going to look like? I mean, that's all I'm saying. What the fucking money going to look like when it comes to, whoever Canelo chooses to give the shot to? I couldn't tell you, people, but what I do know, it's gonna continue to happen. It is what it is, man. And I close it out with this. I told them early in this live about Cambosis. I don't know what the hell Cambosis is has going on. You know what I'm saying? Thotty KK. That's what I call Cambosis, Thotty KK. Because I don't know who he's, 1 minute I'm hearing this, he might fight Ryan, and then the next he's like, get in line, and then next he's gonna fight Lomachenko, and then yet he's saying, Thotty KK is not doing business with Top Rank, and then when it comes to Devin, he probably resort back to Devin, but Devin outpriced himself. Thotty KK is everywhere, dog. He's over here swinging his pom poms and shit. Australia, come back for the 80,000 Australia. Well, shit, it don't look like we're going to ever make it to Australia because you can't choose an opponent. You're sitting up here trying to sell your motherfucking whole 2 hands and feet to the highest bidder. At least Cambosis know he ain't shit in boxing. At least he understands that. And he's trying to say, you know what, this is my window to cash out. Because I'm never going to get this payday again unless I win. And I don't think I can go in there against the names that I'm talking about, whether it be Lomachenko, Haney. I'm going to stop right there. Because I know damn well he ain't fighting Gervonta. Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko. He don't think he can win that fight. And when it comes to YouTube, they just use it as a default. They know damn well they're not going to say, man, I think Cambosis can do it, dog. No, people are not saying that. Both Lomachenko and Haney outboxes the fuck out of Thotty KK. They outboxes the shit out of Thotty KK, man. For real. He just want to make sure he get the most money for coming off those titles. Thotty KK ain't been in boxing long enough at the hierarchy for them to start lying and cheating for him. What is his brand gonna do, bro? Like the only person that you was buzzing on was Teofimo Lopez. But you're not gonna buzz with a Lomachenko. You're not gonna go talking shit to Lomachenko and piss him off even more. That's a dangerous. You're not gonna go in there and talk shit against Haney and expect not to get shit in return. Then it's not gonna happen with Thotty KK, man. So he's in a space right now where he's gonna continue to play the game, talk his shit on social media, dangle the motherfucking carrot, which I hate. Motherfucking puppetizing the audience with who he's gonna fight all over the place. And then he wanted to be grand fucking news when he says, hey, guess what? Me and my team finally came up. We're gonna face so-and-so. And then people gonna be like, all that motherfucking time. Okay, cool. And how much is it gonna be on PPV? When is the fight again? Okay. People are not gonna be jumping up for joy unless it's Devin Haney. Real talk. Unless it's Devin Haney, because the climax is what we want. What is the climax in this fight for everything that's on the table? That's the climax. The climax is when you put all you have a nicely set table with the cloth over it, and you have all the belts on that motherfucker. And winner just come over there and snatch the whole motherfucking tablecloth off that bitch while the belts remain on the table. Because it's theirs now. They done took everything. They have all the belts. They cleared up all the shit. No more Mauricio influence. None of that. But once again, as fight fans, and I'm going to leave you with this. As fight fans, we know damn well that if Devin Haney gets to fight with Kambosos, he has to go in here and put on a dominating performance and leave no question to the judges, because you might have Steve Weisfeld in attendance, and he might be the one grading that shit for Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Just because Devin Haney gets the nod doesn't automatically say he's going to go up there and get the belts if it goes to decision off a fight that's close. He needs to go in there, clear off the motherfucking cache. Just clean out the cache. You know what I'm saying? On your PC, how you got them clear all the cookies and shit, clear out the history. He need to clear out every fucking thing. Leave no doubt that he's the top best lightweight in there. He need to go in there and dominate the fuck out of Thadi KK and put him back on the Australia streets to go make that penny. That's what he needs to do. Ghost on deck, what's good? Kambosos is clearly familiar with YouTube boxing narratives and know how to manipulate their audience. Good for him. Good for him. If you're listening to Thadi KK, you need to hurry up and make a decision, goddammit. We don't have all fucking day. You said, hey, fuck that shit. I ain't taking no easy touches. I'm gonna clear up. I'm gonna clear up any doubt. I'm gonna clear up. Well, the only doubt that's out there, outside of whether you can defend your titles, is that last belt. Period. That's the only doubt we want to see. Point blank. Shout out Ghost on deck. I see you, man. Especially when it comes to Haney, I can almost tell what channels he's listening to based on the language he used about Haney. Well, you know, hey, he needs to take it for thought and stop playing around, because we're the consumers at the end of the day. Some boxers lose that sense of direction on who the consumer is. They hear the word consumer, but they really don't give a fuck about it, because they believe the people that they're talking to are the ones that's going to get them, get them the check. They don't really have that respect from the consumers, the actual fans is going to pay for their ticket, because they don't care. They say, you ain't signing my check, man. You ain't giving me, my check. All y'all doing is on YouTube. Y'all don't know shit about boxing. Y'all don't know shit about that's how some of the boxers look at it. But they won't come over here and sit on the platform. It takes a fighter with, look, it takes a fighter to be cut from a different cloth to come on the platform as a boxer and take heat from non-boxers who are on YouTube. Not all of them are content creators, but we're talking about just the transients. I can't even call them boxing fans. The transients that's on YouTube. That's what I'm saying. It's some people who just click on for a channel or two and they listen to certain, just one or two channels, and they're not even really boxing enthusiasts. They just come up here because people know who they are right now, and they have a family, they have friends, they have people that, say, hey, what's up? And, they don't have their own channels or anything. They just frequent the block. That's all. They just frequent the block. So I would suggest that Kambosos be very weary of the channels that he listened to. I'm pretty sure he's acclimated to those who's putting narratives out. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's no way, no how that you can ignore the information that's put on YouTube. You can't ignore it because the shit is hilarious. There's no consistency on YouTube. Everybody's thumbnails are different. Their descriptions are different. Their intros are different. Their audience is different. Everything is separated. YouTube is just like boxing. There's no cohesiveness on YouTube. Man, y'all know what it is, man. I've been on here long enough. I'll be back on later. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. As always, man, the supporters, I appreciate y'all pulling up and tuning into the channel. You know what it is, man. Don't let them fool you twice. Don't let them fool you twice, dog. Don't do it. Don't let them fool you twice. That shit right there, man, boxing is going to sit up here and try to come up with something for the boxing fans to say, oh, man, I love this. I love this. No, you don't love it. You're just settling for what's left for you right now. You know what I'm saying? You're just settling. We don't know what the fuck. Why are we about to close out the first month of 2022? And the only thing we're looking forward to is goddamn Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios. We don't fucking know if Errol Spence gonna make it to the Udenas Ugas fight. We just had a report come out that he was still injured, but nobody else is talking about it. YouTube is all about controversy, all about against the grain, and that's pretty much what people are resulting to look at. They're resulting to just tune in to channels who saying this, that, and the other. And then the channels who put out the information first, I would still behoove you to fact check it before you go on other people's live chat and say, hey, you hear? You hear so-and-so happen? Hey, man, that shit, like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be very careful with that. That's all I'm saying. You got to be very careful. But, man, y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. Till next time.